Yeah, I mean, coming into this game, we knew all road games in the Big 12 are difficult, and obviously Coach Tang's got a really talented team that he's trying to figure out, and they've had nights where they're tremendous, and then you can tell they're growing as a team too. And I got to be honest, this is one of the ugliest finishes to games I've ever been a part of, and I say that thankful that we won. Just both teams struggled to put the ball in the hole, and there was some difficulty. Actually, I ran into one of our Red Raider fans that was here, and he said, "Man, that game was uglier than my first girlfriend." And I said, "I'd hate to see your first girlfriend." And it kind of felt that way. I mean, just like we were dropping the ball out of bounds, they were throwing it away, we were throwing it away. And honestly, I felt like we just got stalled out, and give credit to their switchability and their size and length, because they do have great length and they do have great size, and they anticipate well. And when they play in between, it made it difficult on us. But really, from efficiency standpoint, other than missing threes, I thought we shot the ball decently well. It just, the quality of pace that we needed to play at, we really got stalled out. And then we couldn't make a few free throws when we needed them to separate ourselves. But give them a lot of credit for a lot of that.
Questions? Coach, I noticed a few times in the second half that Federico, and a few other guys had size advantages in the paint. You guys weren't able to find the big men in the paint. Was there something they were doing when they switched that sort of forced you guys to have to play through the perimeter a little bit more?
Yeah, well, one, and I just being blunt, JT Toppin's not feeling great, not doing good today, and he wasn't feeling great in the Iowa State game in the second half either. And so I mean, in a lot of ways, he tried to gut it out and go play, and he just didn't. He wasn't 100%. And he's really our low block scorer. Federico being a lob threat, but if they're just going to switch and go sit on top of him, he's not a great low block scorer. And it's not to say he can't do it, but smaller guys can leverage him and get up underneath him. And we didn't get into many of the next actions we wanted to. And give them credit, because I did think they were physical in the middle of the floor, and you could tell they practiced the things that we tried to do. And when we did get the advantage in the middle, they switched it again well. And we didn't have quite the edge, and I need to do a better job subbing with our team. Played Elijah 36 minutes, played Chance 33, played Darian 34, and Christian 29 off the bench. So I think trying to get some other guys involved would have helped. But JT not playing really was kind of the centerpiece of what we do and throwing the ball into the post.
Were you trying to manage his minutes then, or was it just as much as he was able to go?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know if he was going to play. Sunday after the game, it looked questionable, and then Monday he had a little bit of an uptick, and then this morning he said he felt okay. So we just watched him. I mean, I subbed him first pretty quick and tried to just see if he could get back in, and usually he's got some pop to him around the basket. I mean, he's got about as good a quick jump as I can imagine, and he was just getting his shot blocked, and that rarely happens to him like that. And he just didn't have the same take to the game, and we had to throw him in there in the end because they went big, and I felt like we needed to play with size when Darian Williams asked to come out of the game. But no, their physicality at the right positions is good. I mean, they do it well, and I think it's just can they do it for 40 minutes like us? I mean, we're learning to do that as a team.
And Darian, was he shaken up there at the end?
Yeah, he twisted his ankle there, midway through the second half underneath the basket on that play, and tried to play through it, and then just got to the point where he felt like he needed to come out of the game for a few minutes and went back in. And that basket he made at the end and the wall up he had at the rim, I thought those were two huge plays for us. And by no stretch were they amazing basketball plays. I mean, it was pretty much a circus, but it was a circus that ended up in our favor. And so I was, there is a loose ball component to, there is a defensive rebound component to this, that we did come up with a few of them when we needed them at the end, even though they did get some good looks. I wouldn't say our defense really made them miss, but when we did miss, we were able to come up with a loose ball, which I thought was the difference in the game.
K-State had that run at the end of the first half to take the lead. You guys came out in the second half and sort of built a run of your own to take the lead. What about your response in the second half leaves you encouraged for the rest of the conference play?
Yeah, no, I thought Elijah Hawkins was really in the middle of a lot of that. I mean, he really had a stretch where he made a couple threes and got stops, and we got up I think 51-44 after being down 44 to whatever it was, and went on a nice little run. And really our energy starts when we can get stops and we can play in transition, and that's one thing K-State does not give up, and they're a good transition defensive team. We just couldn't ever get out and get a basket. I mean, we've been scoring threes in transitions, kind of how we scored on Iowa State the other day. Is Chance got his rhythm going in transition. Well, Chance is a big part of our offense, and he's 0 for 2 from 3, and a big part of it was we couldn't get him loose in transition. I mean, they get back really well. I mean, it's one thing they do really, really well and if they don't, then they foul you. And so they take fouls in transition. So those things I thought really caused us problems in our ability to score baskets.
You obviously go back with Tank and your time at Baylor. What are the strengths in him as a coach that make you believe you can turn this team around?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about Tang, he'll never get discouraged. He's got a real belief mentality. I was an assistant with him at Baylor for 5 seasons, and he really was a mentor to me in a lot of ways. And there would be nights, and it's actually, let's take Kansas State game at home one year, for example, tie score, couple seconds left in the game. We had the ball going full court and decided to throw a full court pass to try to score it underneath the basket. And the ball went out of bounds and nobody touched it. So K-State got it underneath their own basket with short clock. And I don't know, maybe it was Rodney Magruder banged a shot at the end of the game to win it. And you walk off knowing you're going into overtime. And then the next thing you know, you walk off and you don't get overtime and you lose. And I just remember, like, I'm devastated. There's some teams there that we needed to show around our facility. And Tang's like, walks in the locker rooms like, let's go do this, man. We'll find a way. And then we had a scout that night. We go back to the office and it's 2 a.m. and Tang's blaring One Shining Moment saying we're going to win a national championship. Like, he's got a real sense and a way to keep believing in the team. And I see him tinkering with lineups, and you got to go with character, honestly, because character wins in the Big 12, not talent. It's a combination of both. And I see him searching for that and trying to figure out, like, who are the guys that are going to play this game to win. Tang plays this game to win. He coaches this game to win, but he has a bigger picture mindset to it where he's always believing in people, even when it gets really difficult. And I can only tell you because I experienced it, and he was like a drink that you get in the desert when I was an assistant with him, because I could always count on him, and he was refreshing in that way. And I know it's been hard on him. I'm going to tell the truth. I mean, it's been hard on him trying to figure this out too, because I think they felt like they had a talented roster, but it's like, how do you put it together in a short amount of time? And in this league, it can be brutal to try to do that. And there's time. I mean, we're playing 20 games for the first time ever. It's not like we're playing 18. So, we're now 5 games into this, and I started out one year where I think we were 1-5 or whatever, and then ended up 9-9 and made a run. I just think there is a grit to him that he knows because he's been a part of this, and his belief will never waver. He's got a tremendous amount of it, and he's a guy I respect with all my heart and love.